Generally speaking, when it comes to looking at the stats, we often forget. I mean, as a Muslim, we all have that. We hold our own to a superior moral standard, like as you mentioned, right? Like even if one Muslim does some kind of crime, we think that's one Muslim too many. But that sentiment often gets hijacked by people with a malicious intent, who try and overblow the kind of
effect of it.
The scale of Muslim terrorism or crime, political violence, that kind of stuff. So if you just look at in the UK, for example, there's 3 million Muslims, not including the illegal immigrants, but 3 million according to the 2011 census. They say just 1% of all human beings generally are psychopaths, right? 3 to 4% are sociopaths, so kind of pathologically unable to empathize with someone else, inclined towards antisocial behavior and so forth. So you're looking at, and just the Muslims in the UK, to have our fair share of
nutters,
you'd have 30,000 psychopathic Muslims, and like up to 120,000 Muslim sociopaths. So when they do react in a highly antisocial way, they're obviously going to use the language that they know. They're Muslim, they're going to justify it with their ethics, use their language and so forth. So that's where the problem comes when someone with a particular agenda, they force a mic into an imam's mouth and says, "Do you condemn these Muslims doing X, Y, Z?" Of course, he's going to condemn that because he holds Muslims to a higher kind of moral scrutiny. But his statement, condemnation, the statement against these kind of actions, they're going to be taken to spin a narrative that demonizes his own children.
I think the best way to tackle this is just stop apologizing, man. Because the people who hate you, they're going to carry on hating you, no matter what you say. Even if you get down and you kiss their feet, they're going to keep on attacking you. Oh, you people are terrorists. You know what? You believe that, bro? Yeah, I do. Okay, well then we're terrorists. Oh, you people just want to go and I remember there was an officer, he had the decency to actually come and ask me. So I was in a prison in the UK, and there was a senior officer, and so I sort of, would talk to him. He was a decent guy. Like you have, even amongst them, I think amongst prison officers, the percentage of psychopaths and sociopaths is probably much more than
either they're attracted to that job, or because of the job they
I think most of them are psychopaths. A few of them are not just good people, but very, very good people, very decent human beings. And I met all sorts. I met the psychopaths and I met the decent ones. So this guy was one of the decent ones, and he said Baba, Baba, can I ask you something? I said, sure. He goes, I've been seeing you now, like you've been living here on this particular wing that I'm the officer for, and I've known you for like 2 years now. Especially when you're like in a small environment, then you know the officers, because you're spending more time with them than they're spending with their own families and such. He said, I just, I see you're a nice guy. I just can't imagine why, for the why would you want to kill me or my family? So I said, okay, let's sit down. So he sat down.
Because you're infidels.
And I said to him that, I said, who said I want to kill you? So I tried to sort of get it out. Where is this coming from? What you got? I said, could you see? I said, you haven't done anything to me. Could you see me harming you in any way? He said, no, I couldn't. I said, then that for you, the person that you know, is what should be more powerful than anything that you've heard anywhere else. And he wasn't saying it because someone in the media said, oh, Barbara, that wasn't even the allegations against me, that he was involved in some plot to kill people, whatever. But he was just talking from this general thing that, oh, if you're in prison for terrorism, then you must be, you must be out to get people, whatever. So I sat with him and I engaged with him. But really, I think a lot of Muslims here, they spend a lot of time trying to apologize, trying to defend who they are. And I remember Salman al-Farsi is that once some of the polytheists, they came to him and they mocked him. They said, look at your prophet, look how stupid your prophet is. He even taught you how to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
So instead of bringing out statistics from the American Journal of of like science, but in 2002 there was like this and that, he said, you know what? You're right. And he told us to sit down, not face the Qibla, and use an odd number of stones.
Yeah.
So there has to be this thing of, so what? You know, stop apologizing for your religion. Someone comes to me that, oh, you believe in this, you believe in that. Say, listen, it's my religion. I believe in it. I didn't make those laws. Okay, if I was to make them, yeah, maybe I'd make them a bit differently. I didn't make those. So once you sort of get that thing, you know, you want to believe that, okay, no worries, go ahead, believe that.
Yeah.
There's still people becoming Muslim. There's still people who interact with Muslims, real Muslims, in their workplaces, in their universities, you know, in their businesses. They know what real Muslims are like. Just be a real Muslim. Stop apologizing. Someone wants to believe that. Let them believe it.
You know, one of the biggest tragedies, Barbara, from everything that's happened post that, and I feel this for the younger generation, is we've got people now who were born after 9/11, who've grown up after 9/11, and then grown up after 7/7. For us, I think we were still a little bit protected after 9/11. When 7/7 happened, it's on our doorstep, and it was a palpable difference in the way people responded. But the fact that no one's talking about the need for jihad anymore in that sense. You said we could speak about it then, that those people who are in such a dire circumstances, that a group of brothers felt the need to go and help them. And that's been lost. Now we want to, like you're saying, make statistics about everything. We want to talk about, okay, media, we're going to have, you know, this march or something. But going out and helping on the ground in that way, it's kind of been lost from this generation. And in some ways, they've won. And I don't know, maybe we might cut this out later, but if we get a few nutters, I think it's worthwhile, because think of the lives at the other end that have been helped. You know,
But do you get that anymore though? Those lives at the end, because if you look at Syria, for example, the foreign kind of fighters were kind of just used to start killing each other and all the infighting.
The whole discourse is I don't know what's happened. As in, it's been veered off course.
So I don't entirely agree with the.
So has jihad changed?
Well, jihad hasn't changed.
Or the need
never
for
had.
The kind of the way
has
to
it been infiltrated as it's known?
The way to help people who are suffering, has that changed?
So I think so. I don't entirely agree with what Omar, you said there, respectfully. I think so. We're in a different era.
Yeah,
we're in a different era now. And let's say you want to go, and you feel somewhere in some country something is happening. You want to go.
Yeah,
fine. No one can stop you, but know the consequences. So it's know the consequences to yourself in terms of going to prison, in terms of the legal legislation, whatever like that. In our time, we sort of found out afterwards, but we were lucky because the law, whatever, was okay. So you can't say, okay, look at this guy, you know, Babar, he went to Bosnia, he went to Chechnya, he went to all of these places, right? And we should do that as well, we should revive that. And looking back, so I don't have any regrets for going to Bosnia or any of the things that I did at that time. I don't have any regrets for it, looking back at it. Would I encourage someone to do that now? Of course not.
No.
Why not?
So because, so for me, it was a very simplistic worldview at that time. Mm-hmm. So I went to help Muslims in Bosnia who were being, you know, persecuted by another group of people. And I fought as part of an army, as part of an established army on a battlefield.
What about the Rohingya, for example?
Or if people from Pakistan want to go into Kashmir.
So now the geopolitics are different. So the way I saw it, Serb Orthodox, Serb Christians are doing this to Muslims. That's what I saw. There's also bigger factors as well. So you had, like what happened in the 80s, the Afghanistan war, where you had the USSR, you had the Warsaw Pact, you had the communist bloc. You had this proxy war where the Soviets wanted to give, the Americans wanted to give the Soviets a bloody nose because of what happened in Vietnam. That same thing was happening here. So you had Russia you have these proxy wars.
You end up being pawns for someone else's
So you're doing like that. So that doesn't mean that anyone who went there or who was fought, was killed, was, you know, that intention, they are judged by that. But these things, so if you look at the war in Syria, for example, on the face of it, yes, you know, Muslims are being killed by this regime. And then you look behind it, you think, okay, well, what's Iran doing there? Why are you there?
Why is Russia there?
Okay, why is Russia there? Why is, you got all of these different, and the people on the ground are being killed. So, it's like sometimes I'll see on the, on the internet where this guy, he went and he blew himself up in some little hospital waiting room or something like that. Now, what are you going to say to Allah on the Day of Judgment?